Hello Sudoku friends, and welcome to an evil puzzle by Sudoku.com. It's been a while since I tried one of their puzzles, and I thought I would give it a go today. There's an 8 blocking down here, and there's an 8 blocking over, so here is an 8. 4 blocks down and over, so and 4 must go here. One blocks down, another 1 blocks down, so here's a 1. This 4 blocks up and this 4 blocks over. We do need a 4 though for column 8, and since this 4 blocks here and this 4 blocks here and this 4 blocks here, we know that a 4 must go here. This 6 blocks down, so one of these two squares must be a 6, and they block up. This 6 blocks up and this 6 blocks across, so here's a 6 which blocks across, like this 6 also blocks across and this 6 blocks up, so another 6 comes here. This 6 blocks down, this blocks up, and this blocks over, so here's a 6. Now these 6's block over, so a 6 must go here or here. We only need a 3, 7, and an 8 for these squares here. And there's a 3 and a 7 blocking this square, which therefore must be an 8. The 5 blocks down and this 5 blocks up, so here's a 5. Here we need a 7, 3, and a 2. So 2 must go over here somewhere, and this 3 and the 7 block here, therefore this actually must be the 2, and these 2 must be 7s and 3s. And therefore, none of these squares can be a 7, and this 7 blocks down, while this 7 blocks across, so here's a 7. Now I'm wondering about these 4 squares. They must be a 3, 7, 9, and a 5. So a 9 goes across here and blocks, therefore one of these must be a 9. We know that one of these also must be a 7 because the 7 blocks over here. So 7 and 9s must go in 2 of these 3 squares. The other 2 digits were a 3 and a 6. A 6 blocks here as well, so we got a 7, 6, and a 9 blocking these squares, therefore this must be a 3. The 9 blocks over, so here's a 9. And since these must be a 6 and a 7, we see the 6 blocking, so here's a 7, here's a 6, and this square, therefore, must be a 3, which blocks up, making this a 7 and this a 3. Up here, all we need now is a 7. And these 2 squares must be a 9 and a 4. So far, so very good, actually. It seems to go quite smoothly so far. A 2, 8, and a 9 for these squares here. There's an 8 and a 9 blocking here, so here's a 2. Here we need to find a 1, 2, and a 3. And all I can say is that one of these must be a 3. Hang on, the 1 blocks down, this 1 blocks over. No, one of these is a 3, but I can't say which one it is, at least not yet. A 2, 4, 5, and a 7 for these squares. There's a 4 and a 7 blocking down here, so this is a 2 or a 5. 7 also blocks down here, so one of these must be a 7. Can I use that for anything? I think I can see another 7 up here now because this 7 blocks down, this 7 blocks over, so For certain, one of these squares must be a 7, and they block up. This 7 also blocks up. This 7 blocks across. So here's a 7. So now we have 7 candidates in these 4 squares. Still looking for an 8 and a 9 for these squares. But I'm eyeing this 9, which blocks up, and this 9, which blocks over. So a 9 must go in one of these 2 squares. Isn't that true? And they block up. This 9 blocks up. So one of these must be a 9, just as one of these must be a 9. And since we still need to find a 9 for row 3, the only square it can go is here. And that makes this an 8. This 8 now blocks across, this blocks up, and this blocks up. So here's an 8. Now we have an 8 blocking down and an 8 blocking over. So one of these squares must be an 8, and this 8 also blocks over. So the 8 goes here. These 8s block down, and we have a couple of 8s blocking across. So the last 8 goes here. This 1 blocks across, so here's a 1, which blocks down. And this 1 blocks across, so here's another 1. Up here, we need a 4 and a 3. And therefore, one of these must be a 3. And since one of these is a 4 blocking across, this must be a 4 and this must be a 9. So 4 and a 3 here, that makes these a 2 and a 5. Can we do anything with that? Not really. But a 2 and a 5 here makes these a 3 and a 9, and we can't do anything with that. Well, hang on. Yes, we can. This 9 blocks across, this blocks up. One of these is a 9, therefore the 9 must go here, and the 3 here. Now we got a 1, 3 blocking down and a 1, 3 blocking over, so here's a 1 and a 3. And that makes this an automatic 2. So 1 and a 3 here, that leaves 3 squares, and they have to be 5, 9, and a 2. 2 blocks across, so here's a 2, and here's a 9. And this must therefore be a 5, which blocks up, making this a 5, and this must be a 2. 2 blocks down, 2 blocks down, 2 blocks over, here's a 2, which blocks over, this blocks over, and this blocks down, and the last 2 of the grid goes here. Here now we're looking for a 1 and a 3. The 1 blocks down, so the 3 is forced here, and the 1 is forced here, making this a 1 and this a 3. Here we need to find a 5, 7, and a 3. 3 blocks down, so here's a 3. 5, 7. They'll have to wait a bit. 3 and a 4 up here. Now we got a 3 here, so the 4 must go here and the 3 here. This last square, of course, must be a 6. So we got a 6 blocking down, another 6 blocking down, and 1 6 blocking over. Here comes a 6. Here we have 2 empty squares, and they have to be a 4 and a 7. We have a 7 blocking over, so here's a 4, and here's a 7, making this a 7, and this must be a 5. The last digit in this row must be a 4, and these now must be a 1, and the 1 blocks down here, so here's a 1, and the other digit must be a 5. Therefore, this is a 5, and this must be a 9. This was an evil puzzle by Sudoku.com. Please bear in mind that I didn't classify this an evil puzzle. Sudoku.com did. Thank you for following all the way through until now, and bye for now.